What is
It's in the
that?
Vatican. It's supposed to be Jesus rising from the dead, but it looks like
zombie.
It looks like hell.
They tell you the Vatican archives are just dusty halls of history, innocuous corridors of correspondence and papal paperwork, that it's all translations of Latin ledgers and old records of marriages that needed divine approval. But once you're inside, really inside, not just the pristine reading rooms the public gets spoon-fed, but the guts of it, the airless stone tunnels hidden under centuries of sanctified silence, you start to feel it. You feel watched even when you're alone. You feel like you've walked into a place where time doesn't move forward. It coils back in on itself, dragging you with it. The Vatican denies that anything truly scandalous is buried in its depths. They'll tell you it's about preservation, not secrecy. But why then are there levels beneath the archives that aren't on any floor plans? Why are there rooms that require keys passed down only through whispered blessings? Rooms that don't even have names? And why do some researchers who gain access suddenly go silent? No publications, no interviews, not even a goodbye.
Have you been to the Vatican?
No.
It's wild.
Yeah?
Vatican's confusing. Yeah, because there's so much shit there. I knew that there was an immense amount of artwork there, but when you actually go there and you see the billions and billions of dollars worth of art that was accumulated over who knows how many hundreds, if not thousands of years, it's pretty shocking.
Yeah.
It's like a raider's hoard. I mean,
Right.
that's really what it is.
Well, yeah.
They clearly stole all this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they have it all in one spot. And that one spot is also its own country, which is
Yeah.
weird. It's its own
Yeah.
country inside Italy. So it has its own extradition laws, which is great because it happens to be overrun with pedophiles.
Yes.
What they don't want you to know is that the archives are merely a cover. The real secrets lie beneath them, deep beneath them. In the catacombs, the Vatican likes to claim these are just ancient tombs. Historical, yes, but unimportant. Forgotten saints, unknown bishops, walls stacked with bones from forgotten plagues. But that's only half the story, the truth. There are chambers down there older than Christianity itself. Chambers not made by Romans or Greeks, but by something far more alien. There's a reason they never let cameras in the lower levels, not because of preservation, not because of respect, but because of what's etched into those walls, symbols no scholar can translate, languages that predate Sumerian script, markings that some say don't even obey human geometry. A former Swiss guard, long since vanished, once told a friend in a bar off Borgo Pio that he saw something moving in those tunnels, not a person, not a rat, something crawling on the ceiling with too many joints and not enough skin. Every now and then, the archives are closed for maintenance. Scholars are told it's pest control or digital updates, but those who know the system say these shutdowns always coincide with lunar anomalies. During these closures, strange humming sounds have been reported by nearby residents, sub-bass vibrations that rattle glass but can't be picked up by microphones. And then there's the smoke, wisps of black mist seen seeping from ancient grates in Vatican gardens, mist that curls like it's alive. Among the most guarded secrets is a relic they refuse to admit exists, the chronovisor. Built or conjured by Father Pellegrino Ernetti in the 1950s, this so-called time viewer was supposedly dismantled, but insiders suggest it was never destroyed, only moved to the deepest catacomb level behind a sealed iron door known among Vatican insiders as the Pilgrim's Maw. No one is allowed in alone. No one is allowed to speak of what they saw inside. One man tried. He ended up dead in a hotel bathtub in Lisbon, no autopsy. And then there's the matter of the skulls, not human, at least not entirely. With elongated craniums and strange mineral incrustations, these relics are housed in lead-lined coffins said to be radioactive. The Vatican says they're ancient saint remains, but leaked documents from the 1970s reference pre-Adamic hominids and note discrepancies in DNA that suggest non-terrestrial markers. One cardinal, now retired and living in seclusion in the Alps, called them the Watchers. But what are the Watchers watching for? That's where the theories diverge. Some believe the Vatican struck a deal ages ago, a pact with entities not of this earth in exchange for power, knowledge, and control. In return, the church became the shepherd of silence, guarding the truth from the masses. Others say the Watchers are prisoners, that the catacombs are not archives but a jail, and that the rituals performed in the apostolic penitentiary are less about forgiveness and more about containment. You might think this is all myth, urban legend cloaked in incense and Latin, but the apostolic penitentiary itself was secret until 2009. For over 800 200 years, it quietly absolved crimes deemed too vile for public hearing. Crimes like desecrating the Eucharist or conspiring against the church. But within its records, buried under layers of cipher and code, are whispers of more esoteric sins. Summoning, binding, bargaining. One scroll, believed to be from 1471, makes reference to a mirror of living fire hidden beneath the chair of St. Peter behind a vault sealed with 7 rings. The text claims it shows not reflections, but possibilities, futures that could be. Futures that must never be. And beside this mirror is always the same figure, a man with no face dressed in crimson robes. Those who've been close to uncovering these things don't tend to last. There was the Jesuit priest who published a paper speculating that Christ's resurrection was a metaphor for multidimensional travel. He vanished en route to a conference in Prague. A nun who claimed to have found pre-Christian astrological texts in the archive sub-basement died in a fire in her convent 2 weeks later. Accidental, they said, electrical, but no one found the breaker. And if you think this is just ancient history, consider this. In 2019, the Vatican quietly began digitizing a select portion of the archives, only a fraction, cherry-picked. Meanwhile, multiple requests by independent historians to access post-World War II documents have been denied, delayed, or buried in bureaucracy. Why? Because of what those documents suggest. Vatican involvement in Nazi escapes, yes, but also their acquisition of occult artifacts. Items believed to be divine technology, objects the Nazis scoured Europe for under the Ahnenerbe. There's a theory that the real reason Pope Benedict XVI resigned wasn't age or scandal. It was knowledge. Something he saw in the catacombs, something uncovered in one of those forbidden vaults. His final homily included a strange reference to the bark of Peter being tossed on the waves of time. Cryptic, unless you believe he meant it literally. Perhaps the most chilling part isn't what's hidden, it's what might be coming. Rumors persist that the Vatican holds the true third secret of Fatima, not the sanitized version released in 2000. The real one speaks of a great rupture in reality, a point of no return when the heavens will open and something ancient will return, a return that must be prevented at all costs. That's why the rituals continue, why the catacombs must remain sealed, why the truth must remain buried. But for how long can they keep it that way? Because secrets don't stay buried forever, and bones have a way of speaking even when the living won't. So next time you hear about the Vatican's 50 miles of documents and think it's all just papal tax records and bishop squabbles, remember, the official story is rarely the real story, and the real story, it's clawing at the floor beneath your feet, praying someone listens. Just hope you're not the one who finally opens the door. Don't forget to like and subscribe.